Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I want to talk about Link's Awakening, the Zelda remake coming to the Nintendo Switch that I, after watching the initial launch trailer for this, lost my mind because this is one of my favorite games ever made. My childhood was defined by this Game Boy experience. So going into San Diego Comic-Con, being able to see this game in action and also play it kind of blew my mind as well. But there were a few things regarding it that kind of brought my expectations a little bit more back down to earth. And while the game itself is going to be a spectacular hit, there are a couple things I want to talk about in this video just to keep everyone's expectations in check. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Game Boy already had a remake experience on the Game Boy Color when the DX version was introduced. Many years, decades have passed since the initial joy was brought to so many lives playing this game on the go, and it's on its way back for the Nintendo Switch coming in 2019. I had the opportunity to play this at San Diego Comic-Con in the Nintendo Lounge, and play it I did. They gave a 15-minute demo and they had a Nintendo employee stand next to you the entire time to answer any questions you may have and talking about the experience at large. Like I said in the opening, this was one of my favorite games I have ever played in my entire life, so much so that it defined part of my childhood. And I told the employee this while I was playing the game, and he said, "I can tell because you've already made it further than anybody playing this demo so far," which kind of was funny because that's one of the problems I had with this game. Yes, it's fantastic and I love the graphics on it. I know that's a controversial topic in its own right, but as far as the gameplay experience, the first 15 minutes of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch, it is basically the exact same game that came out 20 plus years ago on the Game Boy itself. So know that going into that. I know it's kind of obvious, and a lot of you might hear that and be like, well yeah, it's a remake, that's what remakes are. But just remember that going into this game, because it really feels like it's a one-for-one with just almost like a palette swap of the graphics. Not too much has changed outside of that. The same exact storyline, the same enemies, the same actions involved in the first 15 minutes from the original Game Boy games. So take that for what it's worth. I know a lot of people, that's what they wanted out of this game, but I do feel like some people going into it that played the hell out of the original might feel left a little bit empty because it's basically the same game, at least like I said in the demo portion of it. I don't know how much changes as you progress through the first 15 minutes after that, if it opens up and a lot's different, but since like I said it's a remake, most likely it's going to stay very true to the original, almost to a fault. So that kind of brought my expectations back down to earth for this game. I don't know what I was thinking going into it, but you know how sometimes your brain could just go wild with excitement when you hear something and you think that, oh my god, it's coming to the new era, it's gonna change so much, it's gonna be different, and it's my favorite game and they're gonna be adding all this. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Like I said, very similar to the original Game Boy experience, for better or worse. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, yes, it's Legend of Zelda top-down view, the sword-swinging action, using the shield to push items, everything you know and love from the original Game Boy release is here. Here's the thing though, the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch comes out September 20th, 2019 for the MSRP of $59.99. So it is coming in at the full retail price of a full-fledged Nintendo Switch release title, even though it's a remake of an original Game Boy game. So that might miff a few people, especially when they get this on launch day, to feel like it's just replaying the same game with a palette swap and paying the full $60 for it. But those of us who have been around Nintendo for a while are pretty used to that anyways. As far as the experience of playing Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, It was fantastic. Like I said, spot on with all the actions you can do, and all the memories just came flooding back in as I was playing through in the forest area and getting to the first dungeon before my 15 minutes was up. The Nintendo employee was blown away by how fast I was going through the game, but I told him I had to rush through it because I wanted to see how much I could get to and all the new things I could see as fast as I could, because in that 15-minute snippet of time, it will just stop and shut off and say thanks for playing at the end, and then you have to move on to a different game. And for all these aforementioned reasons, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch concerns me a little bit. I feel like the vast majority of gamers that have played this game might come into it with the sense of being let down because it's just a replica of the original, for better or worse, while the game itself still stands the test of time as one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games ever made. People coming into this newly that have never played the Game Boy version, yeah, they're gonna absolutely love it, and for them, it'll definitely be worth the asking price of the $60 MSRP. For everybody else, yes, I have concerns with Link's Awakening, but I'm still going to be buying it day one, still going to be playing the hell out of it, but I don't want to just make a video praising this thing and talking about all the positives without mentioning the biggest detractor of everything, and that is, it's a remake. And I know so many people in the comment section are going to be like, dude, you're complaining about a remake because it's a remake. That's not a valid complaint. But it kind of is, because I go into games expecting a new experience, and in this case, it was just rehashed with, to me, awesome graphics, awesome music, and all the action and events that you remember from the original are still present there, but it's the same thing. So just keep that in mind. While playing the game, I asked the Nintendo employee if Dr. Wright from SimCity was still in this game, or if there was going to be like an issue with the trademarks, because he's a character from SimCity, which was Maxis, that was bought by EA, so if Nintendo was going to have issues with transitioning from the original Game Boy game to the new one with Dr. Wright, he confirmed Dr. Wright is still in the game, and that Nintendo kind of quasi-owns the rights to him. I don't know why, and it's a weird background situation. He's like, I don't really know the depths of how it goes, but Nintendo owns part of the rights to Dr. Wright for some reason. And he actually explained it away. He's like, yeah, and Dr. Wright's already on the Nintendo Switch with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's one of those spirits that you can have in the game. So yes, this game is so true to the original that they brought Dr. Wright back. Everything is going to be the same, but I'm still super excited about the game because, come on now, it's Link's Awakening Remake for the Nintendo Switch. It's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be worth all that waiting we've had. Just go into it with tempered expectations and you'll be blown away. That's where I'm gonna leave this video, but the biggest thing I want to ask you guys really is, are you excited about playing a game that you've already played to death with just an upgraded palette swap? Or would you have preferred Nintendo to maybe take some artistic liberties in changing and adjusting the layout a little bit and making the game feel more fresh and new? Be very interested to hear where you stand on that. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Like I said, I'm a little bit rusty. It's been 12 years since I played.
Like I said, you've been doing the best that I've seen anybody do. People who say that this is their favorite Zelda.
And then they don't know what to do.
Well, they know what they're doing, but I don't think they pick it up as quickly as you have.
Thank you. I tell my wife, she's very embarrassed for me.
Why?
She thinks I'm a little too dorky. But I love it.
There we go. This is the first time I've ever seen anybody get into the tail cave in this demo.
Wow.
So you might be on your way to a record with this game.
And I was just playing it for fun.
Speed record.
I just wanted to see how far I could get. I wasn't really...
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Does it just automatically stop at 15 minutes?
It'll stop at 15, yeah. So maybe a couple seconds left.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I made it here. That's all I cared about. Mission accomplished.
go, go!